Hi, this is Bruce Buffer, your voice of the Octagon, and you're listening to MMA Mental.
I am joined by Neil Seery. Neil is coming off of a UFC win over Chris Beal, taking his record to 15-10 and his UFC record to 2-1. Neil, thank you very much for joining me. Congratulations on picking up your second UFC victory.
Thanks a lot for having me.
My pleasure. Now, you were facing Chris Beal, and Chris Beal was dropping down from bantamweight. What were your views on him as an opponent?
My views on him as an opponent was that he was dangerous. You know, I knew going into the fight that he was a dangerous opponent. He was 10-0. He was a big bantamweight. He was very muscular bantamweight, and he was even a bigger flyweight than I expected. You know, and I know when I stood beside him on weigh-in day, you know, he was a big lad. You know.
Talking a little bit about the fight. Now, in the first round, Bill was able to take you down, and you were able to work your way back up to your feet. You talk about him being a big, muscular bantamweight. Did he feel strong, or flyweight? Did he feel strong on the ground?
Yeah, he felt he had really good posture. You know, I know he took me down. I wasn't really expecting him to take me down because, you know, all week he was saying he wanted to test his boxing. He reckoned that he was faster than me, he was stronger than me, and he wanted to stand and try finish me on the feet, you know. So it was one of them things that I knuckled down and went out and was hoping for that 3-round stand-up war. But once I put my hand on the flyweight, they seemed to always look for that takedown, you know, whether it's to either secure the round or else they just hit a bit too hard for them, you know.
Now, it was very even on the feet in the first round, but you were definitely the aggressor. You were the one that's coming forward. How did you feel the first round would be scored?
I'm going to be honest, I actually thought I lost the first round. You know, I know going forward, I was pushing the forward, I was pushing the pace. He was on the back foot, and then he secured the takedown, you know, but it's one of them once again, you know, that they're securing takedowns on me, but they're not actually doing that from top position, you know. I'm really good at shutting people's top game down, you know, like I had a good overhook and I was hitting him with elbows and he didn't seem to be moving. But if the first round could have went his way, you know, I wouldn't have argued if it did go his way. I know one judge obviously gave it to him, you know, so but it's a 3-round fight at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, you talk a little bit about the elbows. I was going to bring that up next. Now, round 2 was really exciting, and you showed everyone how to win a round off the bottom. As there was always a chance of being on your back, was it your game plan to throw that amount of elbows off your back?
Yeah, well, like I always do. Andy, my coach, he said to me before I went out that expect a takedown. You know, I know Chris was saying that he wanted to stand and bang, but Andy knew that he was gonna go for the takedown, and he says, "Do what I always do." You know, I'm very dangerous off my back. I've got good hips, and I did go for submission attempts. You know, but I can use the elbows and stuff like that. It was more or less the game plan was to not let him settle on top and weighing down bombs on me, you know. So I just kept moving.
I mean, you talked about the elbows there, but you were, like you mentioned about the sub. You were active as well, looking for the sub. I mean, you come close to a guillotine and a Kimura. Did you feel close to getting a sub finish?
Yeah, well, the guillotine was really, really tight. I know I could hear him breathing really, really heavy. You know, I actually thought he was gonna go out. And even when he spun over and dropped me on my back, you know, I just lost the position when I got mounted, and I had the guillotine stuck in, you know. But fair play to him, like he guts it out. He's a tough fighter. Like, you don't go 10-0 if you're not a good fighter, you know. He guts it out, and even with the Kimura, you know, I thought that was gonna come off, but look, I still pushed forward, and the fight went my way, you know.
So going into that third round then, how did you feel the fight had been scored so far? What was you being advised by your corner?
Yeah, going into the third round, my corner was after saying to me, look, they thought it was 1-1, you know. It was a 1 round each, you know, even though I got taken down in the second, you know, but I done most of the damage. off my back. I know Chris did catch me with a few elbows and stuff like that, but I had the submission attempts. I had a takedown of my own. I had the elbows obviously from my back, and we were on the feet. I felt like I was catching him a lot cleaner than he was catching me. You know, he was swinging bombs when I was I had a little bit more technical and a bit more speed in the boxing. You know, going into the third round, I knew that I looked over at Chris and his gas tank seemed to hit rock bottom. You know, going into the third round, so it's really hard for me not to push forward and constantly pushing forward on fighters. And when I was in the field before the fight, I said I was going to break him mentally and physically, and that's what I done, pushing forward, you know.
Yeah, I was just going to pick up on that. Now, round 3 was the most clear-cut round to score. The first 2 rounds were close. For round 1, you could see an argument for either way. Round 2, I felt, was your round, but round 3 was definitely the most clear-cut round to score. But Beal struggled to keep up with the tempo that you set, and you also landed some big punches as well. So going to the judges, did you feel you did enough to win the decision?
Yeah, I did. Think I done enough. Obviously, it was the second and the third round. As I said, the first round was really close. It could have went either way, you know. Like it depends on the view of the judge. But like the third round, as I said, like I pushed him to the last minute. I kept walking forward, no matter what he was hitting me with. I walked through it. And when I was hitting him, he seemed to be turning his back a bit and running off a little bit, you know. His gas tank, obviously, it's his first time down at flyweight. Maybe his gas tank, he just, I don't know, like something must have went wrong within the cut that you can't go for that 15 minutes. But I'm known for setting a good pace within a fight, so it's I'm sure Chris Beal is going to be back at flyweight, and I'm sure he'll pick up a few wins there, you know.
Now, I think it's fair to say that across the 12 fights, your fight was the most exciting fight on the card. Were you disappointed not to pick up a fight of the night bonus?
Yeah, well, yeah, to be honest, you know, I'm not going to lie to you or myself. Yeah, it was one of them that was sitting back, you know, and it was an entertaining fight. There was a lot of people actually treating each other. It really was a hell of a fight, but the problem was with the hell of a fight was I didn't get a finish, you know. I'm taking a finish constantly in fights, you know. I didn't get the finish, and the fights throughout the card, it was that everybody was getting knocked out, you know, and it was hard. Like it looked like the UFC would have been handing out bonuses all night for the amount of people that got knocked out, you know. So it's one of them, when you're starting the card off, obviously you're on the fight pass and the card still has to run, you know. It really is hard to pick up a bonus when you're out first, you know. But it was more important really for me to come away beating an unbeaten opponent within Chris Beal, you know. That was the most important thing, you know, and I was more happy with that.
Now, how did you feel after the fight? You've got any injuries, and ideally when would you like to get back into the octagon?
No, I had a few cuts and bruises, you know, like everybody within the fight. Injury wise, no, I had a little problem with my shoulder going into the fight. I'm just waiting to get that seen to, and I'm hoping to be straight back in there. You know, I'm looking for a busy 2015. You know, I want to fight as much as possible this year and to see where they can go within this division, because you know, I think I'm really dangerous for anybody in the division. You know, I'm a dangerous fighter. You know, I put everything out on the line. You know, I go for a finish, and that's the way I fight. And it seems like I pick up a lot of fans in the way I fight. You know.
Now you're now 2-1 in the UFC. Any ideas on who you'd like to face next?
No, not really. Like I like the people that I do like within the UFC. Like John Moraga is a fighter that I follow a lot. He's really tasty with his hands. He's got really good wrestling. He likes to stand and bang, you know. And I think it'd be a serious fight for me, you know. But I know John is ranked. I think he's around number 4 or 5. So I think I'll need probably another fight or 2, maybe to even call him out, you know. He's a really good fighter, so he'd be one that I'd sort of be aiming for due to fighting the style within the fight. You know, he likes to throw hands, heavy hands, and I'd like to do the same. You know, so I think it'd make for a really exciting fight.
Now, I really appreciate you giving me your time. But before we let you go, I just want to give you a chance to do any shout-outs. Is there anyone you want to thank, sponsors, trainers, and also shout out your social media?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Quiet Dudes. The Quiet Dudes that looked after me for the weekends. They sponsored me with my shorts, and Coca obviously sponsored me throughout the year. I'd like to thank everybody in my team, Team Rhino, and also the Pascal Collins, the Celtic Warrior Boxing Gym. He helps me out a lot with my boxing. And anybody wants to get me up, you'll get me on Facebook, or you'll get Neil Seery MMA on Twitter. Thanks a lot.
Can't wait to see you step back in the cage again, Neil.
Alright, thank you.